This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Right now with Anthony Chiang from the Miami Herald. And of course, you can follow him on Twitter at Anthony_Chiang. How are you doing, my friend? You hanging in there?
Doing well, Big O. Enjoying this week-long break here. How are you?
Very good. I just finished with George Richards now, and it's kind of screwy, right? Because they're number one,
Yeah.
but they can't necessarily coast because they're actually fighting for the overall number one with the Western Conference in the Avs. So they've got to play these 10 games a little bit different. Whereas Miami, they kind of got to relax the last game of the season in a way, you know what I'm saying? And now they're kind of relaxing here, waiting for their next opponent. So I guess tonight we start the scouting. And in my liquor split matchup of the night, by the way, dude, I took the Cavs plus 8.5.
Wow.
The Cavs have been gritty enough that I don't think they'll win. Although I would not be shocked if the Nets lost today. But 8.5, I would not be surprised if they keep it close too.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I think the Nets win because they have more talent, but Vegas has been overvaluing the Nets all season. I mean, I don't know if they watch them play defense, but they're just not very good defensively. So I would not be surprised if the Cavs cover that. The only thing that I guess would scare me about that is Jared Allen not being available. He's such a big part of their defense and rim protection. That's obviously a huge deal when you're facing a team like Brooklyn has Kevin Durant and Kyrie. But yeah, I mean, with the way Brooklyn has played this year, and you really can't rely on them from game to game, they're unpredictable. I would not be shocked if they get upset tonight. But I think the Nets should win. I think if the Heat's hope is to avoid the Nets, they should be eliminated as a first round possibility tonight.
Hey, dude, isn't this Durant's third season? Right?
The Nets?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, second if you don't count the first one because of the injury, but yes, third.
Yeah. But my point is, dude, you've taken 3 years of your career, my brother. If you don't do anything with this,
Right.
how old is he next year? What is he, 30, 32,
32,
33?
33. Yeah.
It's like and not that I even think they're going to win it all anyway. I think that, Ira and I have gone back and forth, and Ira's been kind of nervous about the Nets. I have not. I respect the two players. I don't respect the team.
Right.
I don't think they're a good team. I don't think they're a great defense. I don't think they can get stops when they have to get stops. And I don't think their coaching staff is better than Eric Spoelstra and his staff anyway. So for me, I think Miami has every advantage in the playbook over the Nets when it's all said and done. But if you're Kevin Durant, dude, you left Golden State. You left a place that you would have had multiple shots at titles. If you don't even get a shot at a title in Brooklyn, it becomes an absolute disaster. Your move. Yeah, sure, you made a lot of money, but nobody measures you by money at this point. You're a GOAT, dude. They measure you by titles.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. And I mean, last year they were close. If it wasn't for the Kyrie injury, and I think that's the thing that's torpedoed all of this, right?
That's what I'm saying.
It's Kyrie being hurt, not being able to play because the vaccine mandate. Obviously, what happened with James Harden? Of you get him, you have those three together. He wants out after a year, so it's just been. It's definitely not what KD expected. I mean, no one could expect all of this. Could they have won the championship last year if Kyrie stays healthy? If James Harden stays healthy? If Kevin Durant's foot was a half a size smaller, that's a 3 instead of a 2, maybe. But yeah, I mean, if they don't win it this year, which I mean, I guess they could technically, but it seems like a long shot at this point. 3 years, no titles for a player like Kevin Durant, who's one of the best ever. I mean, he might be the best player in the NBA right now. Yeah, it's not. I'm sure it's definitely not what he expected at this point.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm saying that he has to kind of, make something out of this season. That's why I think tonight, he'll do whatever it takes to win the game.
Sure.
Because not only that, I think he wants to get to the 7th seed probably.
Yeah.
So I don't think he wants to go through the 8th seed and the trip probably through Miami because Miami's probably a little harder of a defensive team that he'll face there in that position.
And it's just I think you don't want it to come down to one game, right now they can lose one game and still have a chance to get in, but you don't want to take that chance of okay, lose tonight and then all of a sudden anything could happen in a one game situation and they lose that one and they don't even make the playoffs. So you want to get in tonight. You don't want to risk of having that one game scenario, one and done, where the team can get hot and all of a sudden the Nets aren't in the playoffs.
Right, right. No, I'm with you there. All right. Health wise, how are they? What's the latest with Tucker? I know, dude. I know
Yeah,
asking you to get information out of the
right.
Heat is like, I get you. It's Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
What the hell do we know about Tucker?
Well,
Will he
they've
be
been
ready in a week?
the hope is he will be ready. Obviously, they've been off the last 2 days. They're going to return to practice tomorrow, so we should get a new update tomorrow. But from what I heard last week, when it was confirmed, the MRI confirmed a calf strain was that it was a grade 1, which is good news for the Heat. That's the least severe of the 3 grades. So 7 to 10 days usually is the recovery period. He got hurt last Tuesday, so a week from today. So if you count the days, he should be ready by Sunday. But do the Heat maybe take again? I'm not saying this will happen to PJ, but if you remember when Kevin Durant tore his Achilles, he was out for a few weeks because of a calf strain.
Right.
So you want to be careful here. PJ is not the youngest guy in the roster, obviously. Will they say let's wait another game or two? We have the depth. If it's Atlanta or Cleveland or Charlotte, they feel comfortable, winning without PJ. Maybe they play it safe, but the hope is he should be back either the first game or at some point you would think in the first round for sure.
Yeah, I hope he's ready because his kind of toughness and
Yeah,
leadership and all those kind of things.
experience. Yeah,
No, forget the experience, which is obviously super important. I'm with you there, but the toughness that he brings to that edge he brings to a team, I think it lifts his teammates. You know what I mean? When they see him do the dirty work and they know that he's one of the reasons why some guys are having success because he's rebounding for you, because he's setting a pick for you, because he's stopping somebody. That kind of player is just an inspirational player. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
he's one of those players that makes a Tyler Hero or a Duncan Robinson feel slightly tougher than they really are because they've got PJ Tucker
right.
next. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. And it's like you said, it's the small things. His screening has been
Oh
so important to he's
God.
an incredible screener. Pat Riley, we got him before the season, and he raved about PJ's screening. We obviously had not seen him playing a Heat uniform yet, so we took him at his word. But looking on this season, the way he gets 3-point shooters open just with his screens and the timing of his screens, that's a huge part of the offense. So yeah, you'll be missing that. I guess the beauty of this roster, which we've talked about all year, is the
And
depth.
he doesn't get busted with moving picks because
No,
he doesn't know. We had
no.
this goofball center that didn't understand about setting picks or even knowing how to stay still to set a damn pick. You know what I'm saying at times? So it's just one of those deals.
Yeah, the beauty of this roster is behind them is Caleb Martin, right? Which we're asking if this team is healthy, will he even play, right? You'd think he would, but it's no definite. So if PJ can't play, I'm guessing Caleb will start. Caleb's had a very good year. They can play a similar defensive style with Caleb because he can switch. He's tough. He's versatile. He can guard different positions. So yeah, you want PJ to be healthy, but if it's you look at the big picture. If he's not 100%, yeah, you want to play on the safe side. Maybe they take a game or two and they start Caleb because they have the depth to do it. And if they're not facing a Brooklyn, they should have a good edge on whoever they're playing in the first round.
We don't know what's going to happen, but what did Oladipo do, bro? I
Yeah,
mean, Oladipo sent some messages to the Heat and to the rest of the NBA. And let me tell you something. And you watch the team, every single second, so you know them better than we do. But I almost feel, and I told Ira this, I almost feel like I feel like he crossed a threshold the last couple of games where he finally. You ever watch that movie Risky Business?
I haven't seen. I'm really bad with movies. You're gonna get to know this,
Oh,
Vito. I'm bad
it's
with movies.
it's an old movie from Tom Cruise. It's a funny movie.
I've heard of it. I've definitely heard of it. Yeah, yeah.
You should watch it because there's a moment there where where his buddy's talking to Tom Cruise, and he says, sometimes in life you just have to say, "What the f?" Okay, And the only reason I didn't say F is because there's a child right here next to us. So I didn't want to be rude.
Very responsible of you.
But
Yeah.
he says, "What the F?" Right? And off of that, I almost feel like that's what Oladipo finally said after kind of getting benched and saying, him and Markeith, like the coach said, yeah, we've tried this. We've had enough. We
Right.
need to get back to what we were doing that made us successful. And that, right, really, I thought Markeith answered. And it looks like Oladipo finally said, "What the F? I got to lay it all out there on the court." And that's what I'm getting. I'm getting that impression that he finally said, "Dude, I have to let it loose. I can't worry about my body. I can't worry about anything else." And I saw
Yeah.
36 minutes of an aggressive, comfortable, confident, cocky player, and that's the Oladipo you want on the court.
Yeah. We don't know what's going to happen. Spo's rotations are unpredictable. He's a head coach that will change the rotation from game to game, and that's what makes him good. I mean, he's not afraid to make these decisions where maybe the highest paid player isn't playing as many minutes as a rookie because the rookie's just better or it just fits better. The thing I'll say is Victor has looked very good. He's looked a lot better. Obviously, the last 2 games, he looked more like himself, aggressive. You could just tell the way he was playing. No hesitation
No
with
timid.
me.
Nothing.
But that's a role. The last game he played without. I mean, there were no regulars playing.
Right,
Jimmy
right,
wasn't
right.
playing. Bam wasn't playing. Kyle wasn't playing.
He's
Tyler
not
wasn't
playing
playing.
inside a structure, is what you're saying.
No, he had the ball the entire game, pretty much.
Right.
And he was very effective, obviously, but that's not the role he would have in the playoffs. And you have to ask, how would he fit around the guys who will have the ball? Tyler, Jimmy, Bam, Kyle. That's why I think I still don't think he will have a consistent role in the playoffs. I think there'll be moments that he will be needed, but I don't think he's in. Yeah, go ahead.
Although I will say this, whereas some guys at times struggle to play off the ball, and he's pretty good off the ball. He's when he's zoned in like that at times, he's a very good complementary player, understands how to slash and cut to the basket
Sure.
and
Kind of like a Dwayne
fill
Wade
the
a little bit.
lane
Yeah.
and all those kind of things. So it's not, in other words, Westbrook cannot do that. He has to have the ball in his hands. And you saw the last couple of weeks with the Lakers, their injury situation allowed him to have the ball in his hands more. So he was able to play more his game. So he played a little bit more efficiently. You know what I mean? Whereas when LeBron is on the court and dominating the ball, Westbrook struggles to play off ball and try to complement and do all those things because he's not. Oladipo has shown me that he can do that. So I think there is an adjustment there that Spo at least can work with, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. The counterpoint to that is, I do think he can play off the ball. I mean, he's proven that over his career. I mean, even last year through the 5 or 6 games he played with the Heat, he played off the ball. I mean, and he was a slasher, cutter type of player. But what we've seen the Heat turn to the last few weeks of the season is shooting. Shooters around Bam, shooters around Jimmy, shooters around Kyle and Tyler, open up the floor. And Victor, he's a cutter, he's a slasher, but he's not really a spot-up shooter. He's not a spot-up shooter. So, again, I think there will be matchups. I think there will be times when he is needed. There might be a game in the playoffs where they're in a big rut. They need an offensive spark. He comes in and scores 12 points in 10 minutes, or they need his defense at the end of a game because he is still a very good defender. I think he will play. I just don't think he's going to be a consistent part of the 8-9-man rotation playing 25 minutes a game.
Yeah, I'd also like to see him be used at times as a guy that can attack and try to draw fouls on certain players.
Definitely.
In playoff games, that I think that you can bring him off the bench and run some plays where he forces some guys to have to cover him and maybe draw some fouls that maybe is more beneficial for you down as the game goes on, because they picked up a couple of extra fouls because he's so good going to the hoop that he can really create, man. It's just it's just an interesting dilemma.
Yeah.
That they've
run. It's a good dilemma.
Yeah. It's a good thing too, because man, they are deep. Holy shit.
So I was going to say, what does it say about this team that they have a guy that probably will not have a consistent role in the playoffs who just scored 40 points on like 18 shots or something like that? I mean, it's just, who was an all-star, all-NBA player 3 years ago, seems to be getting a lot healthier, and he still might not play. It's a good problem to have, but it's a tough decision for Spoelstra, because how do you sit a guy like that? How do you handle, somebody's they want to play. He wants to play. He's going to be a free agent.
Yes.
He wants to make his money, and he's like,
Exactly.
I worked hard, I rehabbed hard to play, and I'm going to come back, and you're not going to play me. I mean, that's not easy.
No.
But at the end of the day, you have to do what's best for the team. So
they're so deep, bro. They could go to Javonte Smart and get 20 points.
it's incredible. It's honestly incredible. I wouldn't put anything past them at this point.
I told Sean, I go, well, Smart and Highsmith, those will be two guys we'll be watching in the Vegas Summer League in July.
Next year we'll be talking about them stepping up again.
Yeah. You'll be joining us in the Vegas Summer League, right? You'll go to Vegas, right? Though.
Yes, that's the plan. The plan.
We'll be there. Is that, by the way, is that a good place to mingle with NBA people? I would imagine, right?
Oh yeah, the entire NBA world is there. It's just like anybody you want to talk to, anybody you want to meet is there. At least you walk in hotels and it's just like former NBA players, current NBA players, NBA executives, just all over the place.
All right, good. We're gonna have some fun the week we're there, man.
That's a good time to be there for sure. It's fun.
Definitely. We're looking forward to it, bro. All right, what are you working in the Herald so folks can check you out, my friend?
Yeah, I wrote a big piece today actually on what we were just talking about, the kind of all the rotation changes they made, the tweaks they made to the rotation, the starting lineup, and how at the center of it all is Jimmy Butler. I think, it's maximize the entire team, maximize Bam, maximize Kyle, maximize Tyler, but at the end of the day, it's about making sure Jimmy Butler, making sure he's in the place, the best possible situation to succeed and play at his best. I talked to Spo about it and his thinking behind all the moves, and Jimmy and other guys, just about kind of the thinking behind it all. So I think it was interesting, the fact that, again, they're trying to maximize Jimmy, and Spo wasn't afraid to say that. It was pretty simple. Like, how could we get Jimmy to play at his best in the playoffs? And he did play really well down the stretch of the regular season. So we'll see if it continues in the postseason.
All right, there you go. So, of course, subscribe to the Herald and support my guy, Anthony Chiang, as always, doing great work. And follow him on Twitter at Anthony_Chiang there on Twitter. Anthony, as always, appreciate you, my brother. We will catch up later in the week.
Thanks, Big O. Talk to you soon.
You got it. There you go. That's our liquor split Miami Heat report.
This is the Big O Show. This is the